Okay, welcome to the Chapter 2 review. This is for Algebra 2, and these are examples similar to the review that you're going to be doing. So I hope this helps you. We're going to start out pretty simple here. We're going to graph these points here. So we'll start out with 4, -1 right there. And let me use the other tool to draw it. 4, -1 is right there. And then -5, 3 is 5 back and 3 up. So there's -5, 3. This was 4, 1, 4, -1. And then on the next one, the x is 0, which means you don't move right and left, you just move up and down. And the y value when it's negative is down, so down 4 units. And that'll be the point 0, -4. And then we have the last point here where the x is -2. That moves you to the left 2, and the y is 0, so you don't go up or down, you just go to the left. So that's -2, 0 right there. There's no formula, so you don't connect these dots. It's just the 4 points themselves that are the relation. Okay, on examples 2 and 3, we're supposed to come up with a domain. So we'll first of all put braces and list the x values. Please notice that I didn't list both of the 6's. You don't repeat when you do this. And the y values are 5, -1, and 3. So you use these braces and you list them in order. Well, actually, you don't have to be in order. But 5, -1, and 3, that's the range. Now this one is not a function because you can see here that the 6 maps to a 5. And then a minute later, it maps to a -1. So the input x equals 6 is paired with more than one output. This is not a function. And it's a little tricky to get the wording right, so maybe you want to study how I responded here before the test comes on your desk. Okay, the next one here, the domain. The first x is 2, the second x is 6, and then we got a -2 and finally a -6. So there's 4 members of the domain. The range, there's only 3, since the 5 is a repeat that we won't double list. 5, -1, and 0. And you can see I just listed all the y values. And this one is a function. And the explanation here is this is a function. Since every input value pairs with only one output. So for instance, the 2 only pairs with the 5, the 6 only pairs with the 5, the -2 only goes to -1, and the -6 at the end only goes to 0. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do here is, well, I've got actually another slide after this, but we're going to be using this function notation, and you can see that we're supposed to find function f and plug a -16 in its place. So we're going to go 15 plus 3/4 times -16. Multiplication happens first, and then subtraction. So f of -16 is 3. Now notice that I am not dividing both sides by -16, and that's because this doesn't mean f times 16. So you're not undoing a multiplication that is not a multiplication. Okay, on this next one here, we're going to take 2 times h of negative 4. So I'm going to put the 2 times on the back burner. It'll have to be done later. And then h of negative 4, we'll just simply put a negative 4 in this expression. 36 divided by negative 4. Well, the h of negative 4 works out to be negative 9. That's what 36 divided by negative 4 is. And now you finally do multiply that final result by 2 to get a negative 18 as your answer. Okay, g of 5. We're going to put a 5 in place of this variable here. That's what it means when you put the number in the parenthesis. So 3 times 5 squared minus 2. Squaring happens first, followed by multiplying, and finally subtracting. So g of 5 is 73, and I'm going to write that there. And once again, I'm going to emphasize that if you tried to continue this problem by doing this on both sides, you would mess up a very good answer. And the reason for that is that this right here does not mean g times 5. We read it differently, g of 5, and it means the result you get when you put 5 in for the x in the function g, and we already figured that out. That was 73. Okay, the relation we're looking at is this one here, and our goal here on this is to explain if this is a function or not. And you can see I drew this red line through it here. That red line hits in more than one spot, and this fails the vertical line test. This relation is not a function. You can abbreviate function FCN. It fails the vertical line test. And I did give you permission to abbreviate vertical line test, just V period, L period, T period, like this if you want, like that. So that does it for the first 7 problems on this review, and we'll pick up on problem 8 on the next video.